My name is Sheil, and this past week I went to TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival. I love movies, and I've been to TIFF a few times just for some screenings here and there, but for some reason I've never devoted an entire week to it until this year, where I got a pass of 6 movies plus 1 extra, so 7 movies over the last 8 days. And by golly, did I have a good time. All of these movies that I watched, I did not see any trailers, I didn't read about it. They were solely based on if I knew a director's name, a lead actor, or if the poster was cool. Always judge a movie by the poster. Remember that. These are the 7 movies that I watched, and I decided to record my first impressions and thoughts after each one. The night before my first movie, I went to just walk and take in the festivities. A lot of things happening, excitement. It was cool to be part of something in the city. I enjoyed it. And the next day was my first screening at 9 a.m. of Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. It is 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning. Okay, movie review. I'm gonna do this at home. There's too many people. Hi. I wrote down some of my initial impressions after the movie. So today's movie was Glass Onion, a Knives Out story. I don't like the name. We'll get back to that. It was fun. I enjoyed it. My initial gripe right off the top. So it takes place in the summer of 2020. There's a lot of jokes about the pandemic and COVID, and they all made like masks jokes, and like they're jokes I've been hearing, and I'm sure you've all heard for the last 2 years. Right away, it just felt so dated for some reason. They get over the mask thing, they go to this island, like, oh, you don't need masks here. But after that, once the actual story kicked in, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I think it was a good little story, a lot of twists and turns. It's hard not to compare it to Knives Out, which is the first in this sequel, I guess. Which I think it was a better movie. I think Knives Out was better. I don't know why it's called a Knives Out story. It has nothing to do with Knives Out. It's just another murder mystery. I feel like it should have just been like Benoit Blanc story. If they're trying to do like a whole series, it should be centered around the detective, Benoit Blanc, and not Knives Out. Or it should just be Glass Onion, you know? It seems like they're just trying to capitalize on the name Knives Out because it was really successful. After the movie was done, the whole cast and the director, Rian Johnson, came out, which was dope. Surprised. I didn't think that was actually happening.
Guys, I'm not going to waste your time. Please just watch the movie, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And please stick around after the cast is here. We're going to get up and do a Q&A. Enjoy it, guys. Thank you.
But then Rian Johnson was emphasizing the fun about murder mysteries, his love for Agatha Christie stories, and he wanted this movie to feel like a roller coaster of things happening rather than a crossword puzzle where you're trying to sit down and figure it out, which was fun. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it definitely was a roller coaster. Daniel Craig was there, and he was hungover, so he couldn't answer any questions. He tried, and then just halfway through his mumbling, he was like, I can't do this. So that was great. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. Drop the Knives Out story. Just Glass Onion. The next night, after a long day at work, I went to watch film number 2, Living, starring William Nye, Bill Nye, the Minister of Magic. This movie was actually based on a Japanese film by Akira Kurosawa called Ikiru. And it's a very solemn, sad story, but also kind of heartwarming about a man who learns that he only has 6 to 8 months to live. The story was told really well, the cinematography was great, and Bill Nye and the other actors and actresses did a great job. I don't think it pulled at my heartstrings as much as it maybe could have, but it was also it was an uplifting, heartwarming story as well to it. And it was also kind of relatable because he works at a boring government job and then he realizes that he kind of wasted his life away. I would definitely like to check out the original movie that it was based on. Nice cinematography, great performances. I enjoyed. Wednesday, I was able to see a movie that I heard a lot of chatter about. It's the first time Steven Spielberg has debuted a movie here at TIFF, so I was excited to see The Fabelmans. Okay, hello. It is well past midnight, and tonight I got to watch The Fabelmans at Roy Thomson Hall, a beautiful and fitting venue for a movie that was inspiring and touching and emotional, and there's a reason Mr. Spielberg makes movies. He knows how to tell a very good story. This movie is actually semi-autobiographical, and it's about his life, in a sense, I think. I don't know what's true, what wasn't, but it's about a little kid and his love for making movies. So it kind of follows him growing up, but then also there's a lot of emotional family drama, life things that happen. It was funny and theatrical in the right moments. It was emotional and sad at the others. And there's this whole scene where his crazy uncle is describing his passion for art and family and life and the sacrifices he had to make to become an artist. And it was just so funny and so inspiring. And I really need to watch that again. It was really good. I don't know who was sitting beside me, but the guy beside me was like also just like leaning over into it whenever things like that was really good. My favorite movie so far. I really need to sleep. Tomorrow, another late night flick. On Thursday, went back out to the movie theaters after work to see the Banshees of Inisherin. Check. All right. Movie number 4. Another late night, so I picked up a little Nespresso on the way. And this one was called The Banshees of Inisherin, directed by Martin McDonagh and starring Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. Mad-Eye Moody. This was a dark comedy drama about the two friends who live in a very small village on an island outside of Ireland in the 1920s, and they get into a very petty fight, and it just escalates from there. And it's very strange, and it goes into some really weird scenarios. It's a very sad, melancholic story, because it's just like an island of probably less than 100 people, and they go to the bar, and they go to their homes, and that's pretty much it. And they like really, all they have is each other, and then they don't want to be friends anymore. So the whole movie revolves around that. Yeah, it was different. It was very different. I've been thinking about it a lot on my way home, but it was good. I enjoyed it, is the thing. There's some very funny moments, very sad moments, but I was very invested. The cast was perfect. Yeah, I liked it. It was definitely good. It was a good movie. I did like it. Didn't have anything to watch on Friday, so I made s'mores with my friends. But then Saturday, I watched 2 movies, both extreme polar opposites of each other. Okay, movies 5 and 6, a double header today. And they were 2 movies that couldn't be more opposite from each other. The first movie was My Policeman, which is a drama about a forbidden love in the 50s. And then the second was Project Wolf Hunting, which is a Korean bloody thrasher thriller movie. So let's start with My Policeman. I thought the story was really good. It's really weird talking about this right now because I just watched Project Wolf Hunting, and in my head is just blood and murder. So back to this movie. My Policeman. I think the story was actually really good. It felt really real and true, and it's a story that I'm sure has played out countless times. And apart from a couple like very woke, unnecessary lines in the middle, it was told really well. I don't think Harry Styles is the best actor. He was fine. And I don't think the crowd helped either, to be honest. Definitely Harry superfans. When his name in the title came up right at the start, you just hear like, woo, yeah, Harry. But like there were just times where he would speak and say something and you're just like, oh, it's Harry Styles. It's not like the character Tom, you know? And also there are a couple times where the characters are talking and describing some physical traits about Tom, who's Harry, and the crowd is like chuckling and laughing and talking. They're just descriptions of Harry Styles. So it's like kind of took you out of the movie for a little. And also there's just like this big emotional moment with Tom's character. And I don't think Harry did justice at all. I think it could have been done much better. But yeah, I think it was okay. It was all right. It was a good story. I think it just could have been a lot better, you know? And the ending was half really good, really enjoyed it, and then half just like meh. So a complete switch from an emotional drama, we have Project Wolf Hunting, and it was so loud. And I think that was the most blood I have ever seen in any movie ever. It started within the first 20 seconds, and it just didn't stop for the whole 2 hours. It was ridiculous. And some of it was just like, it just kind of made my stomach churn a little bit too. It was so gory. It was actually like so gory. Al wished he was this gory. Plot was a plot. It was kind of silly. I don't think you can take these type of like thrasher or thriller movies too seriously plot-wise. But it did go for a little ride. It had me going. Wasn't too sure where it was going to go, so it was kind of fun. Kept me engaged for all of it. But also there's a lot of questions that I have after, like but it's best to not think too deeply, I don't think. Could I watch it again? Maybe not. Am I glad that I watched it? Very much so. Yeah, it was a lot. I think that was the Backstreet Boys. And this morning, for my 7th and final movie, Weird, the Al Yankovic story. That was a great way to end the festival. That was hilarious. It was everything I thought it could have been and more. It was very silly, very funny, a lot of good gags and jokes and just lighthearted fun. I love Daniel Radcliffe. I think he's such a great actor and he chooses just the best roles to play. I was smiling throughout the whole thing. It really reminds me of, if you've ever seen Walk Hard, a Dewey Cox story. Similar vein of just like weird, silly gags and comedy in one line. It was funny. There was a good solid cameos. I just enjoyed my time. It was very fun. And I'm glad that such silly movies are still getting made. Weird Al is funny. I like Weird Al. He's a great guy. He had a funny role in it. And I think it was a fun movie. I very enjoyed it. My thoughts on TIFF. I don't think I've ever had a more fun movie watching experience than this past week. I will be doing this again next year. Probably watch more. Yeah, never really been to proper TIFF screenings before. I don't know if like this is a thing at each festival, but there's the same commercials that play before each movie. And this one, there was a Bulgari one featuring Anne Hathaway and Zendaya. And it just like, people would just clap to it. It was just like an inside joke. People were just like, yeah. Also, right before the movie starts, there's a big screen about no pirating movies and stuff. And people yell, "Arr!" And that happened at almost every screening I went to. I don't know if this is a thing at every TIFF or at other film festivals. But it's really cool to see. Oh, let's do rankings. The rankings of the movies I watched. It's really hard to rank some of them because they're just so different. And you can't really compare movies to each other. But I tried to these are my thoughts, and I love movies. Go out and watch some movies. Goodbye. Check. Okay, good morning. I just finished TIFF.